The Walking Dead, the final season. Now, I could sit here and dick ride this game for about 20 minutes, but I'm a YouTuber, so I'm going to actually talk about it, so let's jump in. The final season, also known as Season 4, follows Clem and AJ after the events of Season 3.
Well, I mean, sure, technically it does, but Season 3 doesn't really fucking matter.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. Anyway, Clem and AJ then end up being kidnapped by Marlon, the leader of a group that are kind of residing in a boarding school, and this is the primary setting of the game, their new home. Things then take a turn once we find out what Marlon has done and when raiders get involved, but I'm not giving a plot summary, so let's get into the actual video. One thing that I will say right off the bat is Season 4 has by far, and I mean by far, the best cast of the 4 games. The first game's cast was pretty good. It wasn't like amazing. I think there were a lot of characters that were kind of boring. Same with Season 2. Same times 3 with Season 3. But Season 4, I pretty much like everyone. I love most characters, actually. So, you know what? Good going, Telltale. Good going.
You don't know any others?
Yeah, I feel the same way. This song's like kind of boring at this point, to be honest. Play something new. Season 4's cast isn't just great because they're some of the best written characters in the franchise, it's also great because it's the first time in probably like a decade that Clem has actually been around people her own age. Sure, she had a life before the apocalypse, so she would have probably had a group of friends at school, but that has been so long that she's never really had a place to call home where she can be around people that she is actually able to relate to and be familiar with, and I think that's a good way to send it off.
Come on.
This is the greatest video game I've ever played.
He's a tot.
Yeah, a tot who can shoot.
You guys do your thing, I guess.
The choices in this game feel like they matter so much more than Season 2 and 3. 3 especially. 3's choices were fucking useless, man. They didn't do anything. Nothing from 3 carries over to 4 besides Clem and AJ. That's why I think 3's kind of filler and mediocre. But 4, granted, it has the perk of being the last one, but you are projecting these ideas onto AJ. It's coming full circle. It's like Season 1, Lee projecting onto Clem, now Clem projecting onto AJ. It makes sense structurally, thematically, and it takes advantage of that idea better than any other game in the franchise, in my opinion.
Okay, Prince Charming, let's see those talents in action.
I can't say no to a face like that.
He's such a fucking loser, man. I can't stand him. He's amazing. He is amazing.
Hey, look! We got the nose! Not no!
Would you believe me if I told you this is a serious video game franchise?
The man you met at the station, we got history.
Brody!
Marlon let him take the twins. Him and his people.
Brody!
Because Marlon was so ashamed of what
The ending of episode 1 is absolutely insane, and Marlon, the way his character turned at the end here, was fucking crazy, but it was so well handled that I was just blown away. I was blown away by absolute Kino, what can I say?
He's scared. And when he's scared, he gets angry.
Do you guys remember in my Season 2 video when I praised Carver as a character? I think Marlon fills a similar role here. Granted, he's a smaller character, I suppose, in some sense, because he's only here for this one episode. But he's really well handled, and it's that same situation where the circumstances and the world around him made him the way he is. He's just trying to survive like everyone else. Yes, did he go about it in an immoral and unethical manner? Of course he did. And is he bad and deserved to be punished for it? Absolutely. But the fact that he feels guilt and he's scared of letting anyone know shows that he knows what he did was wrong, but he did what he did because he is the leader of this group and feels a sense of responsibility to keep, at the very least, some of them under the same roof.
Think about how scared we all were when the adults left. I pulled us out of that fear. I gave us all courage again. Who are you all gonna believe, huh? Johnny come lately and her little fucking lunatic? Or me? Your friend?
Yeah, and that's another thing. The adults left the kids here. It's literally just a group of kids ran by Marlon. I am not defending his actions in any sense, but you can understand, given all the circumstances and the context at hand, you can see why things unfolded the way they did. And I think that is what makes him such a well-written character.
Fine. I aimed for the head.
Obviously, at this point in the story, AJ's view of people is incredibly narrow and shallow, and this happens at the end of episode 1 regardless, but from this point on, it is Clem's duty to influence Clem with the right or wrong ideas, depending on what kind of playthrough you want to have.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you guys won't know this because I didn't make a video on Season 1 because I played Season 1 on the Vita, but I never liked Lily. But I am still glad she's here because unlike Season 3, which had no returning characters from the previous 2 games, we do have a character here from the original games, not even Season 2, Season 1. So you know what? Good going, Telltale. I like that decision, even though it doesn't really mean anything. It's cool to have an original one here. It's a bit more familiar in that way.
Throw it. Distract him. Works just as well, and nobody gets hurt. Not us. Not him.
Yeah, here we've got another great character. Wow, this game just can't stop fucking winning.
Part of us is still in there. Do you really think there's nothing left of who he was? Then tell me if you really believe they're just monsters.
This is the first time in the series' history we see a character with a perspective on walkers that is much more decidedly human, because that's what James is trying to do, and it's very similar to the way runners in The Last of Us were thought of, because multiple times, even in the game, you know, you can hear the runners scream, and you can almost hear the human soul still in there. And while there isn't really any proof of that in The Walking Dead, the fact that James just has that take, he has that mindset regardless. Sure, you can consider it delusional, but given what he's done in his past, he's clearly trying to atone and bring some form of humanity back to not only himself, but the world around him. And fuck, this game is so good, man. This is amazing. I am blown away by peak fiction right now. I can't lie, guys.
But it was funny. It could have done something on like a molecular level.
You are super cute.
Cute. Wow. That's yay.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the dating aspect of the game. I don't think it's that special, but I mean, it's cool. I'm glad it's here. It's a cool feature. And I guess it shows how Clem is aging, because now she's, what, 16, 17 in this game? So she's at that age now. And I think it's cool that they include this, because it's a bit more, what's the word? I guess it's a bit of hope. It's kind of a light in a game that doesn't really have a lot of that. So, you know what? I'm glad it's here. Thank you, The Walking Dead. This is nice. This is cool.
I fucking really hate that fucking dickhead shit fuck.
This is how I talk about Lily.
She also had me tied up, but I wasn't her prisoner, if you get my meaning.
Why are you telling 2 minors?
If you get bit, I'd want you to bite me too.
What? You don't mean
I
that.
want to be alone. Please don't be mad. I can't live with you not with me, Clem. I know we've talked about it so much, but don't make me.
Fucking hell, man. This is so beautiful. It's literally like Season 1 again. We're coming full circle, man. This is so... peak, man. This is so good. I love this game.
Green's calming, but purple might be nice.
Well, purple was my dad's favorite color.
It is also the Proxia color.
This is for you, Minnie.
Another scene that is just really beautiful in my opinion. You know, the dim lighting, the starry dark night, the silence from everyone in the room, the calming music. They've accepted, sure, with jokes, but they've accepted that they may die and that there will be losses the following day. But because they care so much about those close to them, because it's all they've got in this wretched, rotten world, they're willing to fight for it, something that Marlon would have never done in his cowardice attempt to survive.
You know, I was making it all up as I went along, right?
I never noticed. It just felt like you always knew the right thing to do.
This is the second time this series has done this to me, and they can go fuck themselves on both occasions.
Another scene that is just so emotionally heartbreaking, but so powerful as well, because it shows that Clem never really grew up. She never got the chance to grow up. She was 9 years old when the first game began, and she's never known a normal life since. she's never had the opportunity to grow up with people who can actually mentor her. She's had to figure things out for herself, because Lee was only there for so long. She's now been forced into young adulthood, and while she's, yes, physically almost an adult, at heart she is still that same 9-year-old girl who never got the chance to grow up as a normal girl. Now, if I'm going to talk about the final season, I have to touch upon the ending.
This is just what happens sometimes.
But it wasn't supposed to happen to you.
My little goofball.
It's Alvin Jr.
You'll always be goofball to me.
Fuck, man, this is so sad. Never mind, she's fine. Yeah, as much as I want to meat ride this game to infinity, I have to address that this is undoubtedly a cop-out, and it is not bad writing outright, because there is aspects of this that I will defend, but they did give us that whole emotional scene for absolutely fucking nothing. I understand the complaint that this is a cop-out. However, on one end, I didn't really want the ending of this game to just be a carbon copy of Season 1's, because that's what this sets up to be. That's why it's a cop-out, because they were going to do that, but then Clem's alive, so they didn't. However, at the same time, they did set up for that to be the case, just to change it at the last minute. And I think what would have been best here is if they just made the circumstances more believable. Because while yes, Clem's leg was fucked, so blood flow was already minimal, and her leg was probably cut off within 15 to 20 minutes of being bitten, it makes sense in that sense, but you have to remember, they were surrounded by walkers. We didn't witness how she actually got out of that situation, because I think the devs probably realised that it was a bit ridiculous. Now, it can happen, so I can understand it's not a complete outright just bullshit plot point out of nowhere, but they did set up things in a way that made it so that she is alive really unbelievable. It almost feels like this last 10-minute segment at the end of the game just isn't even canon, because how is she alive? What I will say is the bad writing aspect of this comes from the fact it is a cop-out, and the way they handled things makes it really unbelievable that she's still standing. But again, like I say, I think the best situation would have been either make it more believable or just not have Clem be bitten in the first place, because I would much rather prefer a happy ending than just have AJ living with these people by himself, because it would have just been a bit fucking depressing. And yes, it's a depressing series, but after 3 seasons of non-stop sadness and depression, I'm glad it ended this way. I just wish it wasn't a cop-out and they, structured it a bit different. But again, I am going to defend it because I'm glad it ended like this, even if what happened before set up for, what would be a different expected outcome. Anyway, folks, this concludes my video of The Walking Dead, the final season. Overall thoughts, I think this is the best one. I give this a 9 out of 10. I absolutely adore this game. I think it's the best written of the 4. And while, yes, the ending, I have problems with it, I think the actual end, so the last 10 minutes, is good. Yes, what came before it set up for something different, and it's kind of conflicting emotions there, but I'm glad it ended the way it did, and I think overall there is so much great writing in here that I cannot give this game any lower than a 9 out of 10, because it's fantastic. It has its problems, it has its flaws, but so does everything, and for this to be an end to Clem's story, I couldn't imagine it ending any better. I just wish they handled the thing before the ending a tiny bit better. Anyway, I've been Sam, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing down below, and checking out my videos on Season 2 and Season 3. And I probably will do one on Season 1 in the future, if I buy it on PlayStation 5. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.
I just need to know. I just need to know.